listening. Welcome to the next episode of Dadcast.
With the man them.
As always, I am Joe, father of 4.
I am Jace, father of 2.
And I'm Kenny, father of 2.
Obviously, it's been a little while since our last video, so we are back, and today we are going to be talking about
Puberty.
Yes, puberty. An area in which I would say I have more experience, but I don't think that's the right word. I'm on the journey.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm experienced, but I'm on the journey. More so maybe in regards to being a father.
It's interesting though, in that we've all worked with young people, and you know, whether it's in youth club setting or teaching or pastorally support and all that kind of stuff, you'll have young people, see them go through that age 11 up to 16, and you know, they go through so many changes. You get those boys that like one summer they're 5'2", they come back at 5'11", you get those sort of ones that shoot up, or the kid that always had like a really like squeaky voice and says like talking like this. It's like, whoa, what happened to so? But then there's obviously the side of it, like the other hormonal side of a kid that's normally happy-go-lucky becomes really like secretive or really just touchy over any subject or angry for no reason. So much that kind of goes on,
Yeah, and I feel like working with young people helps, but nothing quite prepares
you. Yeah.
And it's very different. It's very, and I know like we've spoken about this on the radio show about kind of the difference between working with young people and going through something with your own child, but it is really different. Like it's a different experience, and in some ways it's more frustrating because it's your child, and in other ways you've got more time to support that.
Yeah.
You know, your child.
And I suppose the reason why obviously it's different for us three and why it's kind of highlighted on Duppy is because he's kind of going through the situation at the moment with his children, and you know, me and Jace have younger children, so we're yet to experience that, but we will talk about what our expectations will be. But Duppy, what just give us a little bit about what it's like for you, I suppose, as a parent, and girls kind of going through that process at the moment.
It's a beautiful thing. No, it's not at all. It's challenging. Part of it is that I think so. All 3 of my girls have now hit puberty. So I've got a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, and 11-year-old. They've all hit puberty. It's affected them all in different ways. So it's not really an age thing. Like you talk about teenagers and stuff. Only one of them's a teenager, but they're all there. Do you know what I mean? I think one of the biggest changes in this age is about their own identity and who they are and how they see themselves in the world. And you see it with, when your kid's in primary school, it's kind of all about, your class and your school and being friendly with everyone and playing and this and that. And then when they get to secondary, they really start questioning who they are and how they fit in the world. And this is where issues around the fact that they're girls and being girls in a fairly male, prominent world. The younger 3 are mixed race, so being black in a white world and things like that. So they're questioning themselves and how they fit in, and also their friends going through things around their sexuality and things like that. So it's this identity phase, and I think it can be quite hard because so much has changed even since we were teenagers as to what's kind of normal or acceptable. And I know they're not the right words to use in general context, but that's how it. If we're being honest, it was what was normal back in the day, and now it's a lot more open and a lot more, people are who they want to be, and it's more accepting, I think, now, which is a really positive thing. But it can be difficult, I think, for parents with that generation, and I'm sure every generation feels like it, but with a generation where the next generation have got it completely, it's different again, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny because our parents probably would have come across that same kind of generational change. Where we wouldn't have thought that we might have come across that.
Sometimes it's silly things though, isn't it? In that you get some olders that if they were in a relationship, they might hold hands and walk down the street, but they wouldn't get in a situation where they'd be seen with sat on each other's laps in public. Whereas like our generation was like sit on lap and we're chatting away like nothing. So, and so you get those changes, and it's a thing with puberty as well. And you kind of mentioned it a little bit. Is that puberty kind of unlocks that S word, and you don't want to think about your children doing that S word, as I'm sure that our parents felt the same way, like with us as we were growing up. And I think that's the part for me as a man with 2 daughters. I don't know why there's that stereotype of, people are less worried about their sons than they are their daughters. And I think it's also knowing what I was like as a teenager, knowing what my friends were like as teenagers. It's that kind of thing. But the world has changed, and what's really good is that growing up, there wasn't really. I can't think of a time where there was an outright conversation about something like consent.
Definitely.
Now in schools, when they're in secondary school, there is a big agenda where it pushes on what is consent. It's as simple as a cup of tea, like so many have seen, and I just think that it's good that because there's more conversation. So I don't really remember talking to mum or my stepdad or my dad about anything kind of within changes within me. But it's not to say it didn't happen, because my mum was very. I don't want to say passive, but in the way that mum would let a conversation come up and then have that conversation.
She didn't force a conversation. She'd wait for it.
And so it could just be that we did have conversations about it, but it'd be like a 30-second conversation that answered a question that I had, just kept it moving with the day. So like with you then, Kenny, I guess I don't know if it's different growing up Rastafarian in like what the approach is when talking about things like puberty and the changes going from a boy to a man and all that kind of.
So from a Rastafarian perspective, it wasn't no different really. Like, I suppose I had to get to a point where I felt comfortable about about those things. Chatting to my parents about those things, because you're very much grown up in the sense of adult, child. Am I able to kind of bridge that gap and start talking in them ways? You know what I mean? But I did feel comfortable to chat to my dad about certain things. But at the same time, my parents never spoke to me about sex, never. So it was like you had to kind of make it up, as you go along. But the difference today, I suppose, is that young people, they don't necessarily have to, if they don't get an answer from their parents, there's other ways of getting answers, which is also kind of scary for parents because you want to be able to educate them and you don't know what kind of things they're looking at. So, for instance, from a support mechanism standpoint, if they may feel that they're not growing enough, hair under their arms or whatever, is there a certain time they may be able to go onto YouTube or whatever and speak to or listen to someone talking about that same issue. But then there's, I suppose, fears on the other side where they're going to get certain information about things where they shouldn't really be getting information.
Well, it's the thing as well with Duffy mentioned it in, I think it was on air on radio, about how sometimes you've got to have the conversations now because so many other kids know so many other things for various reasons. If you don't have those conversations with your children, somebody on the playground will.
My advice to every parent out there, if you feel like it's something that you're able to do, because we've all got different comfort and boundaries, talk to your kids about everything. Just be interested in their lives, be interested in everything, and over time, if you do that, like I've said before, Maisie, who's my eldest, who doesn't live in Bristol, she comes down on the weekends, I knew I was never going to have the best communication with her mum, so I knew anything I wanted to know would be through Maisie. So I made a massive effort just to talk, and it's really paid off now, where she's 13 now, and she has asked me about sex, she has asked me about porn, she has asked me about boys asking her out and what to do. She actually rang me once from Cheltenham and was like, Dad, this boy has asked me out, he's my friend, I don't like him, like, what do I say? And we wrote our text together, do you know what I mean? But she was only comfortable doing that because I'd spent the previous how many years just talking to her about everything, and at her level when she's ready, and again, like your mum, letting her lead the conversation in. But I think it is important, and things like sex and porn and stuff have a as parents, you're like, oh no, you kind of think, oh my gosh, am I even... But I've had conversations with 2 of my girls about porn because it's important, because it's accessible to everybody. The boys at their school watch it. They know the boys at their school watch it because the boys at their school talk about it. So it then is something that is in their mind. You then have to talk to them about it. Otherwise, it becomes an inquisitive thing of, well, I can't talk to anybody else about it, so what is it? And that's when there is a worry of what they're going to find, do you know what I mean? So I think talking about sex and being open about it and talking about all those kind of things, the same with drugs and alcohol, things like that. Like kids these days know a fair bit about drugs and alcohol. There's quite a lot of stuff out there. There's stuff they watch on TV's got it in as well. So there's so many topics that I just think let your kids kind of come to you with, and
stepping away from the sex side of puberty, one of the things that that I have liked about this generation of young people working where I work is at my desk I've got 3 drawers, and the bottom one is stationery, the top one is just everyday use stuff, and then the middle one is my, I can't remember what I called it, my hygiene and first aid station. So in there I've got like plasters and stuff like that. I did have medication, but that's all locked away now. Never story for another day. Safeguarding that. But then I also have things like deodorants in there, but then I have female hygiene products in there as well. And what's really nice is that a few times over the last few weeks, my door has knocked and girls have come in to say, "Oh, sir, I heard you've got pads, please can I have some?" It's like, okay. And I open the door, I'm like, "What do you want?" We've got one with wings, we've got ones without, we've got ones that go in, ones that... So it's like, it's up to you what you want to use. And I think back when I was at school, I couldn't imagine any of the girls speaking to a man about that. And I wonder if part of that as well is because I speak so openly about the kids and having daughters that, when a young girl wears something inappropriate for school, I will say to them, like, as a father of daughters, like, I'd be really upset if my daughters were wearing something like this and the boys were making comments. And it's just trying to have those, because sometimes when I say to a young person, like, that shirt, you need to do your buttons up. But why, sir? And we both know why. So what I'm glad of is that now, as a father, I can say that now. As a father of daughters, like, I am not in any way perving on you or anything like that. This is me, like, this is someone's daughter right now.
Definitely.
I would want something to tell my daughter, sort that out. So that's kind of the way that I go about it. But it is nice that the generational changes, that there is a lot more openness. There's this thing about period poverty, trying to make sure schools have it. So in the PE office, one of my colleagues, she's got the red box, it's got all that kind of stuff. So once I run out, as I got kind of some more, she goes, fine, she came down, restocked, and and that's really nice as well. With your girls, have they been quite open with their period? Do they have many questions for you? Because I guess they would ask their mums in theory.
Ish, yes and no. I mean, their mums are, they do talk to their mums about it to different degrees. I think because of being a youth worker and me having quite open conversations about those things, they also feel comfortable talking to me in general, but each child's different. So Maisie's the eldest, but she actually started her period the last. Tasia started first, and she was in primary school when she started, and this is something that I wanted to touch on what you were saying about, have I got too much hair on the mounds or not enough, whatever. Tasia was one of the first to start her period and felt a bit self-conscious about it at the time, so we had a lot of conversation around that, and but now they've all started. Shreya also started in year 6, and Maisie started as well in year 8, and we do have quite a open conversation, but it's quite, after Tasia having gone through it, it was quite like, the other girls were like, okay, that's kind of normal, she's gone through it. So Maisie was like, oh, I really want, like, how come Tasia has already and I haven't? And She wanted it, and then after about 3 minutes of coming on, she was like, Dad, this is not what I thought, this is not what I want this to start. And I was like, okay. But we do have quite open conversations, they talk to their mums as well, and it's about you not, sometimes in your heart, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I talk about this? And then if you just get over that bit, you can just have quite a normal conversation with them.
As men, we will never experience periods, so we won't know the full ins and outs of how it feels.
No.
But if we all recognise that it's a normal thing, so I think that's the part of it as well. And it's trying to teach your kids to kind of stay in their lane, and that's okay. Like I said, the girls all came on at different stages. Nicola and my sisters all came on at different stages. It's just learning to kind of stay in your lane. I guess it is that thing that once you get it, you got it. That's it for the next 40, 50 years. You've got that going on.
I think one of the other important things as well is that kind of stereotypical thing where a dad will talk to the son about certain things, and the mum will talk to the daughter about certain things, and I think it will be quite refreshing for there to be a mix up, and to be able to support where else, because I don't want I won't want to feel that my daughter comes home and she comes home crying and she wants to just wait for mum, and stuff like that.
And the other thing, I think it's such an important point, and it's not possible in every family. I'm not with the mothers of my kids, but the whole thing of dads talking to their sons and mums talking to their daughters, I think actually is really negative, because as a father, the advice we can give to our daughters from a male perspective is so key, and vice versa, a mother giving a son advice as well. You need both. I experienced this firsthand when I was growing up. My mum did an amazing job at raising me, and she did everything she could to make me a good man and a good partner, and have respect for women, and not cheat, not be abusive, and do you know what I mean? There was never another man in my house. My dad left before I was born, and my mum never had another partner, so I never had a man stand up and say, but also as a man, it's okay to be like, you're being ridiculous. I'm going to pop out for a bit till you've calmed down, or no, I'm not having you speak to me like that. I only heard one side of it, and my mum did an amazing job, so I'm not knocking that at all. But that's just one small example. I had to learn myself through some difficult relationships that actually I am allowed to say, no, you can't speak to me like that, or no, as a man, that's not my responsibility. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's the same with things around puberty and those conversations. I think it's really important to have both perspectives if you can. It's not always possible, but hopefully within your family there's people who can have, you know, like my sister's great at talking to the girls and that. Do you know what I mean? Like you can get, you know.
That's the thing. I feel, I've said it to Nicola before, in that as long as the girls have someone, a trusted adult that we're happy with, that we know they talk to, that's kind of the key thing. Right, I think we'll go to a quick break. Times and dates have changed for our radio show, so stay locked, and here's the information coming up right now.
What's good, people? It's Jace from Dadcast with the Man Dem, and I'm just letting you guys know that you can no longer find us on BCFM Tuesdays at 10. That's because we've moved. We're now on Mondays 9 PM, so catch me, Kinney and Joe for the award-winning Dadcast with the Man Dem, where we talk all things fatherhood in the 21st century, and it's all about you guys getting involved too, so make sure you're locked in Monday nights from 9 PM on BCFM 93.2.
Yeah, so there you go. You can catch us on Mondays, new time, 9 PM. We are live on air, Bristol 93.2, or you can get us on bcfmradio.com /Dadcast, or you can catch up with us on facebook.com /DadcastWTMD, where we are live on there too. So we were just sort of talking during that ad break, funnily enough, saying the differences between our households for us kind of growing up. So I mentioned obviously with my mum, I don't remember having any kind of key conversations, and it's really tricky because I will do a lot of the same, like I'll do a lot of similar things with the girls, but I wonder how the girls' like relationship talking about puberty and the changes, and how Nicola will approach it compared to how like her mum might have approached it, like woman to woman. So I just wonder if you, Kenny, like going through that journey of like, you know, being a young man. Like I said, there wasn't really much kind of talking that went on at home. Did you and your brothers ever kind of talk about things?
No, so it was kind of, you know, not weird, but in our household, it's like my older siblings, you know, that much older than me, and I only, so I've got 6 siblings, and or 5 siblings, sorry, and it's me and my younger brother, you know, we're close in age, like 2-3 years apart. And then there's a leap after that. So in the house was my second eldest sister, my older brother, and then obviously my younger brother. And you know, I don't think there was a time where I ever felt that I could, you know, speak to my older brother, I suppose, because he was always out. My sister was always, you know, they were always just out. They were at that age where they were close to leaving home. It was just me and my brother, you know what I mean? I was going through stuff, so my brother, you know, he was one of the ones where, because I was going through certain things, or I would be allowed to do things at a certain time, you know, he kind of wanted to do, you know, the same kind of things, and it was like we did talk amongst each other, you know what I mean, about this and that, and you know, oh yeah, I'm getting kind of, you know, my first periods or whatever, you know what I mean, like, and it's one of those ones, and because you're so close in age, you feel that, you know, and because we're both, you know, both boys, you know, he's going to be, you know, experiencing those things as well, so it was important for me as, you know, as not only just close in age, but older brother to, you know, speak with him about that. But I never felt that I could kind of speak to my parents about those kind of things. I think mainly because they didn't approach the subject around, you know, I suppose the sex aspect of puberty. I did speak to my dad about, you know, about facial hair and things like that, and my dad always said to me, it's like, you know what, you're not going to get your beard until you're 30. He would always say that. I'm like, why 30? You know what I mean? Funny enough, like, my beard didn't proper come through until I was 30. But yeah, I do wish that, you know, I was able to speak, you know, more with my parents, I suppose, about those kind of things. And I think that's one of the things I will do differently this time is, you know, I will make sure that from an early age, like what you said, that's like I will, you know, try and be as open as possible with, you know, with the children about those kind of things. And even now, you know, the children are always like, oh, Daddy, how come we got, you know, beard? Like, especially Kida, you know what I mean? She sees the differences. She's like, how come we got a beard? You know what I mean? Like, and stuff, and like, oh, is it only boys that have hair on their
Yeah,
armpits and stuff? And like, because obviously mummy shaves her armpits, so I'm like, no, it's both in those kind of things, and I think it's good and it's healthy for my daughter's 4, she's 5 in a couple of weeks, and I think it's so healthy for her to recognize differences and ask those things and feel open to be able to, it's innocent, but I think it's nice that happens now, so yeah, I think that's definitely how I have it.
And do you find that it will be important to give Zaire those avenues? Because like I said, you would speak to your brother a bit about things, whereas Zaire at the moment doesn't have a brother. And to be fair, when you have another like you said, it's going to be a thing of that gap, isn't it? So it's going to be a lot trickier, and it might be that younger sibling will talk to Kida or will talk to Zaire when they get to that stage, but they're not going to have kind of...
No. I mean, I'm already talking to Zaire about certain things. Again, he'll come in and see me like shaving or whatever, and be like, why are you shaving? You know what I mean? And and then he's talking about muscles and things like that, and daddy goes to the gym and all this kind of things. And we talk, and I don't just talk about the gym. I talk about the stuff around that. Why I go to the gym? You know what I mean? Like, and I suppose just start to kind of put in little things around, image, I suppose. So, image is something that, they're watching TV and they see all the music videos and all these kind of things, and that they're going to be influenced by these things from a young age. So I know I want Zaire to, I wanted to take pride in, his appearance, not in terms of being vain or anything like that, but just in terms of hygiene and all these kind of things. And we put a mirror in his bedroom now so he can, exactly, pick his outfit, he can do his own hair, all that kind of stuff. So we are doing that thing, and I suppose I want to be able to give him enough advice so that, if we do have another, child, then and they ask the question, they feel comfortable. If they don't feel comfortable coming to me, then they ask their sibling.
So I think what's key as well, because your body goes through so many changes and you get like the mood swings is a big thing that is often seen a lot within teenagers. I think that's where it's key as well to help your children with their emotional well-being and their emotional literacy from a young age, because then they can recognize like, I'm feeling angry and I don't know why. Like I'm feeling like I'm okay, but like I'm feeling teary. Why do I feel teariness? It's sometimes stuff like that, because I've had it's always girls, funny enough, that it happens with, but like I've had girls in year 10 that have gone like, oh sir, like I just feel like just really like emotional. Like, I don't know why I feel really emotional. I'm just talking through like, well, has anything happened? No. Okay, is anything bad looming over you? No. Okay, then just feel the emotion. Like, it's absolutely fine. Like, it will pass. If there's nothing to actually worry about, it will pass. And generally, they are okay afterwards. But if they aren't able to identify that, they're like, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? Blah, blah, blah.
And I think but the other thing that's really important, because we give all this advice and I talk about my experiences and this and that, but the main thing though that everybody needs to remember is every single child is different. So Shavea, Maisie and Tasia, my 3 girls, are all very, very different, and Shavea is not a talker. Tasia and Maisie are both talkers. They need to talk, they love to talk, they reason things out and they get it out. Shavea isn't and doesn't. She doesn't want to talk. If something bad happens, she needs physical reassurance, she needs a cuddle, she'll come and find me and just cuddle. But she doesn't want to go over things in detail. That's not the way her brain works. So with her hitting puberty, it was very different because she has become basically violent. So I'll walk in and I'll either be greeted with a big hug from her, or she'll go, and then go to hit me like a proper whack. I don't know play fight anymore. I'm like, what are you doing? And it's her, and I think she finds it harder because she's not a talker, so she doesn't know how to express it. And because she's not a talker, I can't force a conversation on her. Like, we have to find other ways of working out why she feels the way she does and having conversations around it, or finding other avenues for her to get her energy out or whatever, do you know what I mean? And she's just got a bike, she likes going out on her bike and stuff, and she can just go on her own around the block and stuff, and that gets her out. But it's really important, again, why it's good to have conversations with your kids from young is because you learn your children, you get to know what's right and wrong, and what worked for Maisie didn't work for Tasia, what worked for Tasia didn't work for Shavea, and Malachi again, so I think that's important to remember. And do you find, obviously, you guys have both got 2 kids, do you find that you deal with them very differently in regards to issues that come up, or?
Yeah, definitely. You got to weigh up that introvert extrovert kind of thing, I suppose, as well. Because, like you said, you know, they're very different. So Zaire, he can be quite sensitive, you know what I mean, about certain things, and he'll hold things in. Kida, she's quite, boisterous, and she's quite open, so she won't be afraid to ask. You know what I mean? She's quite innocent with it. So with Zaire, you kind of have to you have to tease it out of him, I suppose, a little bit, and just have a more subtle, longer conversation to get something, for him to talk. Whereas Kida should just be like, oh yeah, this happened at school, and this and this and that. And Zaire's gradually getting better as he gets older. He's experiencing different things in school.
I think the thing with my two is just that Jada just plays too much. Like, just always wants to. So I'm sure that over time, we will be able. We've had conversations before that have been like, and I've sat there and gone, oh my god, like, okay, we're having an actual conversation. Because she's always being playful, which is absolutely fine. I don't want her to lose that part of her. But it is tricky when trying to have such a conversation with her because she's always playing. But that's again a part of her youth, and as you get older, you think about. I'm sure we'll have conversations. We spoke about like the boys in football, and now, as far as I know, she did have opportunities to play with the football. She went and got it, so she was playing with it. All those sorts of things. The tricky bit for me is that a lot of the conversations that tend to take place when they're coming back from school. Not being on that school run means I miss out on a lot of that conversation. But it's the summer. Me and the girls, so it's Nicola's birthday coming up, so I'm taking the girls out on Friday so we can go find something. But that'll be us in the car having those chats. I want to try and make sure, because I haven't done it for ages, to take them both out somewhere one-to-one, whether it's just to Costa for a brownie or whether it's just, just take them out for some one-on-one time. And I think that's where you get to have those conversations as well.
I'd agree. I've got another question for you guys on that then.
Shoot.
Obviously, as you guys have mentioned, I'm kind of experiencing it and going through it. How do you think your children will be when they hit puberty? Do you think there's anything major that's going to change?
Do you know what's really funny is, and so right now, behind the scenes, Nicola can hear us in the other room, so I would not be surprised if Jess ended up doing a goth phase.
Okay.
I would not, because she can be very like, she's very somber, she can be a bit emotional sometimes, but like, if something happens, she's the one that wants to go sit somewhere quietly. When we did the fair, the summer fair, she got really hot. She didn't want to sit with us in the shit. She just went and sat by herself. And it wasn't that she was like sad, she just basically wanted to be by herself. Jada, I can see parts of me in Jada in that I think when it comes to being overloaded with emotions, I can see her like becoming physical or like just raging and tapping. I can see her doing that sort of thing. But they might surprise me. It might be Jada the goth and
with Kida, she's a Leo. That's one thing, and I've seen it come out. And I know me and her will probably clash. We will clash. We're both 0 to 100, so I could definitely see that happening. But then I think out of those outbursts, a lot of deep conversations will come out of that, and I can see that in her. She's quite honest when she's upset, and then she'll be like, it's because you did that. You know what I mean? So I know that we'll be able to have those chats. Zaire, on the other hand, at the moment, he's starting to open up a bit more about certain things, and I think what Zaire, he likes female attention.
his father's son.
he likes female attention on many different levels. I think he likes a female opinion anyway. And I think he's going to be one of those heartbreakers for sure. I'm gonna have to have enough talks with him about certain things from early. But I think Zai's going to be like me in terms of he's going to be into everything. So I think he struggles with decision making. So I think that is going to be one thing.
That's something
That's from Sherrod. That's from Sherrod. So I think we're going to struggle. He's going to struggle to find something that he's going to kind of pinpoint and be like, that's what I want to do,
Yeah.
which is fine, you know, because I'm a guy that does loads of different things, you know what I mean? But my decision making is pinpoint, so it'll be fine. And we'll be able to kind of support you through that.
I'm thinking about, because obviously my 3 girls have hit puberty, so I know what that's like. But Malachi hasn't. Malachi's 9 tomorrow, actually, so he'll be 9 by the time this video comes out.
And birthday money?
Future
Money? Birthday?
And it's interesting to think about what he's going to be like. He's quite, he's someone who keeps quite a lot inside as well, and it can make him get really angry when things can kind of build up and stuff. And he doesn't talk loads, but I think he needs to find that kind of avenue. So I think my concern with him is that over the next few years, if I don't help him find that avenue, once you hit teenage, I can imagine him getting a bit physical, not like aggressive, but like he needs to lay out physically, and that might end up with him getting into fights or things like that. But he is very focused on football, and I know that having a passion, or having, like we said, Zaya doesn't necessarily have one, but he likes lots of things. Having passion and being passionate about things can really help teenagers and boys growing up in the inner city, in our area. I really want to encourage Malachi to continue with his football, because if he's focused on that, it'll keep him out of a lot of trouble, I think.
The thing is as well, is when they get into something like that, whether it is a martial art or a sport or some sort of hobby with a group, that network of support is there as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think that's sometimes overlooked. You know, even, you know, something like boxing.
Yeah.
When you get in the ring, it is one-on-one. But when you go to a set gym, you know, the coaches look after all of them like their sons, their nephews, their little brothers. And you kind of, you get that network there. And it also gives them examples of different people at different stages. You know, when you look at what a man will be, there isn't a blueprint for what a man will be, but you get to kind of see these different blueprints.
You can
I think from my experiences as well, especially, you know, growing up Rasta, like, you know, we had our community. We were one of the first, we were the Ras, you know, children, the first Ras children, you know what I mean, in this community. And it was like, we had different ages of, you know, of guys kind of to look up to, I suppose, and see different things. But I think the added value of that was that we had friends within school, but then we had that tight knit outside of school as well, which I think is very, very important to see things from loads of different perspectives.
Yeah, definitely. A few hypothetical questions. I'm sure they're things I'm going through currently, some of them, but not all of them. One of them is friendship groups. How do you guys think you'll handle your child beginning to hang around with a group that you feel is getting into trouble, is doing things you're not happy with, maybe is...
So with me, I think I would make it very clear how I feel about that friendship circle, and I would want to try and come up with avenues for them to be doing stuff so that they're not out there getting into trouble. You know, I can't. It'll break the bank, but I would rather cook for 6 kids in this house and make sure they're well fed with something to do than need them hanging outside chicken and chip shop. It's that kind
putting things on for them to do. 100%. I think for me, it's just making sure that they're very clear on knowing what is right and what is wrong, and don't feel any way to walk away from a situation that you don't agree with, because if they're your friends wouldn't put you in those situations.
I think that'd be a good conversation for another day. We are going to have to wrap up, boys. We're reaching our half an hour limit. We will be back for the August edition. We normally talk about summer and things that are going on in summer, so we'll have a bit of conversation on that, plus a bit more. If you want to catch up with us within the meantime, there's various socials. You've got Instagram at Dadcast WTMD. You've got Facebook, facebook.com/Dadcast WTMD, or search for Dadcast with the Mandem. We're on YouTube, where you should be watching us now, youtube.com/Dadcast with the Mandem. We are on live weekly Mondays at 9, but you can also listen to us on BCFM 93.2. Is there anything else we need to let them know? I'm just trying to think.
We're
award-winning. Dadcraft is obviously the first Saturday of every month, 2 till 4 at Scrap Store in St. Werburgh's. Fathers come along, bring your kids, drop in. You don't have to stay for the whole time, but come along and get involved. I don't think there's anything particular.
I mean, we've just got, you know, some events, I suppose, that we're planning. So we've got some things coming up that's in the pipeline, so make sure you look on all our socials to find out more about that.
And if you do ever want to get involved in our show, a few people said they want to come on air, so I'm trying to book in dates with people. But if ever you want to come and Today we've gone for the nice child living room vibe.
A bit warm.
So if people do want to get involved, get in touch. dadcastwtmd@gmail.com. If you know a dad that we should get hold of and speak to again, it doesn't always have to be in this setting. Even if we were to meet with them, have a quick chat, even just an audio recording and stuff that we can use in the various mediums that we use. So, alas, I guess there's nothing else to say, boys, but fatherhood
Doesn't come with a manual.
Peace.